We've all dreamed about getting superpowers, right? Maybe by eating a devil fruit, training in a hyperbolic time chamber, or even making a deal with some ancient mysterious force. But what if you had to sacrifice your, family jewels to gain them? Sounds insane. Well, welcome to the world of Dandadan. Okarun, the awkward yet lovable protagonist, didn't just stumble into his powers. He earned them the hard way by literally losing a part of himself to the terrifying, chaotic spirit known as Turbo Granny. But who is Turbo Granny, and how did she turn Okarun into a high-speed menace with one of the craziest transformations in anime history? Buckle up, because we're about to break down the wildest origin story you'll ever hear. Let's dive into the legend, the curse, and Okarun's journey to becoming a true force of nature. Before we get into Okarun's powers, we need to understand the source, Turbo Granny herself. She's based on an infamous piece of Japanese urban folklore. Imagine this: you're driving late at night on a quiet highway when an old woman appears behind you, speeding, honking, and tailgating your car like a lunatic. The legend says if she catches up to you, you'll either crash or face something much worse. This tale, meant to warn against reckless driving, inspired countless spooky stories. In Dandadan, the creators turned the urban legend up to 11, transforming Turbo Granny into a supernatural entity. This yokai is no ordinary ghost. She's a speed demon with a twisted sense of justice and a knack for cursing anyone who crosses her path. Now enter Okarun, your average high school loner obsessed with UFOs. His quiet life takes a turn when he meets Momo Ayase, a popular girl with psychic abilities and a deep connection to the spirit world. To settle a debate about aliens and ghosts, they dare each other to visit locations tied to their beliefs. Momo heads to a haunted hospital and stumbles into aliens, while Okarun faces the infamous Turbo Granny in a creepy tunnel, and let me tell you, it does not go well for him. When Okarun first meets Turbo Granny, she doesn't waste any time. She offers him a horrifying deal: surrender his manhood or face her wrath. Naturally, Okarun tries to run. Big mistake. Turbo Granny's curse activates when her victims attempt to flee. Using her incredible speed, she catches him and, well, rip to Okarun's family jewels. But here's where it gets interesting. The curse doesn't just end there. Turbo Granny partially possesses Okarun, embedding her powers deep within him. This possession triggers a chain reaction. Turbo Granny's spirit merges with Okarun's body, granting him superhuman speed, agility, and reflexes. But it also comes with a heavy cost. Whenever Okarun transforms, he loses control of his personality, becoming somber and detached. It's like Turbo Granny's essence weighs on his very soul. Turbo Granny isn't just a one-dimensional villain. Her backstory adds depth to her character. Once a human, she became a yokai after a tragic encounter in the very tunnel where Okarun first meets her. Over time, she became infamous for her ability to curse those who entered her domain, stealing their reproductive organs as a way of channeling her yokai power. Her powers are linked to Japanese folklore but enhanced in Dandadan. As a yokai, she's not purely evil. In fact, she's been known to comfort the spirits of young girls who met untimely deaths. This duality makes her one of the most fascinating characters in the series. Thanks to Turbo Granny's possession, Okarun unlocks insane abilities. His speed alone is enough to make him one of the most dangerous characters in the series. At his peak, he can move at 100 kilometers per hour, faster than most vehicles. But speed isn't his only asset. Okarun's transformations enhance his durability, reflexes, and biting strength. Yes, biting strength. He's even capable of ripping through giant alien appendages with his teeth alone. And let's not forget his iconic all-out attack, a devastating move that combines his speed and strength into a single headbutt. During battles, Okarun can transform his legs into powerful projectiles, launching himself at enemies with earth-shattering force. As the story progresses, Turbo Granny's relationship with Okarun evolves. She goes from being a terrifying antagonist to a reluctant ally. Here's where things get even weirder, and let's be real, we're talking about Dandadan, so that's saying a lot. Even though Turbo Granny has left Okarun's body, her connection to him isn't completely severed. Why? Because her spirit gets trapped in a small, creepy-looking doll. This twist keeps her tied to Okarun, both literally and metaphorically. While she's no longer controlling his body, the doll acts as a vessel for her essence. Turbo Granny's sarcastic personality and sharp tongue are fully intact, and she's not afraid to give Okarun a piece of her mind. But here's the kicker: her powers are still active within Okarun. That's right, even with her spirit in the doll, Okarun retains his insane speed, enhanced strength, and reflexes. The doll serves as a conduit, maintaining their supernatural link. This raises a ton of questions. How much of Turbo Granny's power does Okarun actually control? Is she holding back? And most importantly, could this connection be severed or made stronger in the future? So how does Okarun still possess Turbo Granny's powers even though she's no longer inside him? The answer lies in the way yokai powers work in the world of Dandadan. When Turbo Granny cursed Okarun, it wasn't just a temporary spell. It rewrote part of his spiritual makeup. Essentially, her abilities fused with his soul, creating a hybrid being. Even though her spirit is physically contained in the doll, the power she transferred remains embedded in Okarun. It's like his very DNA was rewritten to channel yokai energy. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Okarun's powers continue to evolve. Unlike Turbo Granny, who relies solely on raw speed and ferocity, Okarun learns to mix her abilities with his own creativity and human resilience. For example, he starts developing techniques that Turbo Granny never dreamed of, like combining his speed with advanced combat strategies. This transformation suggests that Okarun's potential might even surpass Turbo Granny's. The only question is, how far can he push himself before the yokai curse begins to consume him? Turbo Granny stuck in the doll. You'd think the drama between her and Okarun would calm down, right? Nope, their dynamic is as chaotic as ever. While Turbo Granny still has her cranky, mischievous personality, she's also becoming an unlikely mentor to Okarun. Despite her tough exterior, she genuinely wants to see him survive and thrive in the chaotic world of yokai and aliens. Through their bizarre partnership, Okarun gains deeper insight into the supernatural realm, learning how to harness his powers more effectively. But let's not forget, the doll form isn't permanent. Turbo Granny is always scheming, looking for ways to regain her full strength and possibly escape her doll prison. And when that day comes, will she still be Okarun's ally, or will she return to her old, terrifying ways? This uneasy alliance adds a whole new layer of tension to the story. Okarun might need Turbo Granny now, but what happens if or when she no longer needs him? And that's where things stand. Okarun, the reluctant hero, is carrying the legacy of Turbo Granny while forging his own path. But his journey is far from over, with yokai powers evolving inside him, a creepy doll tagging along, and looming threats from both spirits and aliens. His challenges are only getting started. But what about Momo? Her psychic powers have been growing at an insane rate, and there are some seriously hidden references in Dandadan that might hint at the true origins of her abilities. Could Momo and Okarun's fates be more intertwined than we think? And what secret clues has the author left for us in plain sight? You don't want to miss this breakdown. I'll be diving into Momo's insane powers, uncovering hidden references, and exploring even more about Dandadan's rich lore in upcoming videos. So smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay tuned for all things Dandadan and anime. Also, check out this video right here. Top 10 anime where girl rejects boy and regrets it. It's filled with drama, twists, and anime gold you won't want to miss.